G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode where we're restoring a 46-foot John Pugh motor sailor. Sorry about the little noise in the background, we've got other people working on their boat too. But this week we're going to get started on the deck outside the boat, and we're going to look at doing the coamings. We're going to remove the old ones and put in new coamings, ready to install the brand new hatches that are going on. So it's going to look good once we start closing this boat up and no more water can get inside. So here's one of the coamings I've just had made up from a laser cutting place down near my house. They've done a reasonably good job. Unfortunately, they buggered up the first one. They cut out this coaming and they made it all square. Now these are for the aluminium hatches that we're going to install that can open up, the escape hatches. And I wasn't happy with the way the hull is made. It's made curved, and which is great, it makes the water run off, but it's just not going to seal very well when I bolt down the aluminium hatches. And it's only 3-4mm steel plate on the deck there, and it's just not going to be strong enough to just bolt down onto. This is perfectly flat and laser cut, so there's not a lot of heat that goes into it. Now the first ones they made nice square edges, and that's not what we wanted. What we wanted was nice round edges, but they were good enough to make up these replacement ones. Unfortunately, they've made them slightly undersized and just so it doesn't go in. So I'm just going to have to grind it a little bit bigger. It's very close. Basically, it's going to go on like that and be nice and smooth. Just a little bit more. Very close. Just gonna use a Sharpie, colour in some of the bits that I'm gonna be grinding. So now I'm taking off an even amount. Now that I've finished grinding it, we can place this on. Beautiful fit, nice, smooth finish all the way through. It'll bolt down nicely. And we can lift that up. So that's going to be a nice flat surface compared to what we were going to have once I weld these plates in. So that's good news. So this is the coaming going into the aft cabin, and they've just welded in this flat bar here, and they welded all the way around. It's good, it's a good job, they've sealed it up nice, but it just doesn't fit any of the standard hatches that you can buy. So I thought of a couple of ways I could do it. I could just cut it across here, and then I'd have to make another cut for the coamings that I've made up. I thought we can cut the weld out, take the box frame out, but all that's going to use up more cutting discs than I need, and all I'm going to do is sit this coaming on top, use a square to mark out my locations, and then cut it out that way. So what I'm just going to do is check to make sure that it's still straight and square to the middle. So in the aft cabin here, we've still got to chop out all the webs that are still holding this on. A little bit of weld in here. This one's okay. A little bit of weld in here. Got weld up here. And a little bit of weld across here. And then we can drop this coaming out. As you can see here, it's just 100mm plate welded on 4 sides. There's no standard hatch that you can buy that can just bolt onto this. It'll have to be custom made. So we'll take this out. That's a pretty good fit all around here. Got reasonable gaps to weld. Nothing's over 2mm gap. And that fits nicely. So what I'll do is cut these webs down so that there's a 10mm gap between there and the top, so that this plate, which is nice and thick, can sit flush with the deck. Just got my engineer square here. I'll set that at 10mm. I'll just pop that on there and I'll just mark it out along and then cut them out. So here's why I needed to cut these out. So these, you just can't get anything to fit it. It's all custom made. It's just 100mm square plate. So I cut that out and I had these 10mm plates laser cut up to the exact diameter of the hatches. This is a 43mm radius here. And that snugly fits perfectly around the radius of the hatch. So these coamings are 10mm thick plate and they're perfectly flat. Put a straight edge across there and there won't be any deviation. And we'll drill the holes in here to bolt the hatch down onto this. And I wasn't confident with how undulated this deck is to just bolt the hatch down onto this deck. And you can see here that this deck is nice and flush here, nice and flush on this side. We've got 6mm stick up here, and over here we've got about 4mm stick up. Then you go over this side and we've got 4mm stick up. and we've got a 2mm stick up here and undulated all down this side. Now I can get it slightly better than that. I can adjust those tabs slightly more to make it a bit better, and I can G-clamp this 3mm steel plate to the 10mm and get it a little bit nicer. However, if I wasn't able to do that, then I just have to bolt the hatch down to this all undulated, and there's nothing I could have done about it. But we know now, after welding this in, that I'll have a perfectly flat surface to bolt my hatch down onto, and it's going to seal a lot better than if I just cut a hole out on this and then used fairing compound to get it a little bit flatter. So I will end up G-clamping this and pulling this a bit better into shape, and then welding it all the way around, and then we will rely on fairing compound to flatten the deck out and make it a bit nicer. However, much more happier bolting a hatch down to this than I would have been onto just this plain surface here. So a little bit of improvement, and I've got another 2 more hatches to go. So that's the end of another episode. We've got the hatch up in there, the coamings ready to be welded in. We've still got to drill all the holes for the hatch to be bolted down onto. Next week we're going to get into prepping the other 2 hatches and cutting out the hole and putting the coamings in ready to be welded, drill all the holes, ready to bolt down all the hatches. We did say we've got a big announcement this week, and that will be that this boat is actually going to be turned into an electric boat. We've been weighing up the cost of getting a new diesel engine, getting diesel tanks, fuel lines, fuel filters all set up, and we're looking at about 20 to 30,000. We did a lot of research into the electric motor idea, and although this is a very big, very heavy boat, we decided that we're going to go ahead and try and make this a green boat and go for the electric setup. So that's going to be a very exciting process. I know a lot of people have already done electric boats, but this is getting up there on the big side of boats, especially the heavy side. It's also got a lot of wetted area. So being a full keel, it's a lot of wetted surface, which creates a lot of drag. So we're going to power through all those obstacles, and we're going to do also a DIY option. We got a lot of quotes from all the reputable brands, Eco Boats, Ocean Volt, Electric Boat, and they came in with some very large quotes. We're talking up around the $50,000 mark. So we decided, no, we still want to push through with electric, but we're going to go DIY. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be an exciting build. It's not going to be an easy challenge, but I'm not an electrician. I don't do much with electronics, but we're going to give it a go anyway. So that's the announcement. We are pretty excited about it. We're going to push on with it in the short to near future. So we're just finishing up all this welding and all the hull modifications, and then we'll be pushing on to this electric build. So that's going to be very exciting. I'm excited anyway. Hope everyone else gets on board and gives us a lot of feedback. We're still researching it. We've narrowed it down to possibility of 2 different electric motor setups. One might be the Golden motor setup, and another one is Thunderstruck. But I'm still researching, trying to figure out which is the best. We're going for the higher voltage range to get the less amp drawage, but we'll go into that in a lot more detail in another video. So we wanted to share that with you guys, and we were all excited. We couldn't keep it to ourselves. So hopefully everyone gets on board and joins us for that. Thanks everyone. See you next week.